Right, welcome back to the Ask Lee slot or segment. Today we have three questions from Richard Gold, Deborah, and GodKingCthulu. This is all relating to, the first one is about attuning with spirits, and then we go into working with the elements, and then we have a look at gate opening. So, exciting stuff.
Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button.
Okay, as per usual, if you have any questions for the Ask Lee segment, leave them in the comments below. If you are listening on the podcast, you can leave a voice note on anchor.fm. Just follow the link in the description. Okay, so let's get on to the questions. The first one is from Richard Gold. So how would one do this oneself? This was on the Ask Lee, I think it was an Ask Lee, regarding attunement to the demons. So how would one do this oneself to get attuned with a specific angel or demon, and how should one prepare? Any chance you can make a video about this? By the way, I find all your stuff very interesting and thoughtful. Thank you very much. Alright, so this whole attunement to the demons, really it is really about creating a relationship, and this is what we speak about mostly a lot in demonology, is building a relationship with a spirit, and then working with that spirit. So the whole idea of attunement is really that. It's not, I think people get the idea that attunement to a spirit or attunement to a demon or angel, whatever it is kind of like this single process that we go through, which aligns your energy with their energy, and that's it. You're now attuned to that energy, to that specific demon. If anybody is doing that, and if that is the case, then I would strongly recommend staying away from that, not doing it at all. If that's what's happening, if people are doing a particular ritual which brings your energy into alignment and attunement with the energy of a specific demon, that could end quite badly. And I say that, kind of imagine taking two electrical currents, and you don't know what these currents are, and just kind of smashing them together. Now, you could end up with something positive, you could end up with something negative, and that could explode in your face and cause a whole lot of problems. And really, that's what you're doing here, is taking your energy and just smashing it into another energy that you have no idea what it is. Sure, you've heard stories about this particular energy. People have told you their own experiences. People have told you what this energy can do, what it feels like, and everything else. But that's their energy combining with this energy, not yours. So what you need to do is create that relationship, and through creating that relationship you get to learn what the energy is, you get to learn its nature, you get to learn if it is in tune with your own energy. And through that development of a relationship, you then get to work with that energy. You get to understand it, you get to experience it, and you walk alongside it. You don't come and smash your energy and attune your energy with it. So I would really stay away from this idea of attunement to a spirit. You know, there are cases where it's possible, but even there, that's talking about people who have probably spent years getting to know a particular spirit and getting to know that spirit intimately. So it really is about creating a relationship, and I would personally stick to that, to be honest with you. Alright, let's get on to another question. So the next question is from Deborah. How does one know if they have the energy enough to start working with the elements? Alright, so when we're talking about the alchemical elements, air, fire, water, earth, spirit, we are really made up of these elements. So, you know, the way this is often seen is that air, fire and water combine in order to create the body of earth, and then that body of earth, combination of all four, is then filled with spirit, prana, breath, life, chi, and word after word. So when it comes to the elements, we are already the elements themselves. So really, it's not a case of knowing if you've got enough energy to work with them. You already work with them on a daily basis. What you might find is that you are at an imbalance. You may have too much water, in which case you may be overly emotional. You may have too much fire, in which case you are very quick to anger, you know, etc., etc. So what you want to try and do is balance those elements out within yourself. If you are lacking a particular element, you need to pull that element in. If you've got an excess of an element, you need to release it, or get one of the opposing elements to come in and sort of tip the scale so that it creates a balance. So that's really what we're doing with the elements. There's a lot of ways, lots and lots of ways you can work with the elements, obviously, but it is largely, or a lot to do with actually bringing balance. So not just bringing balance within yourself, within your own nature, within your own body, your own temperament, and such things, but also in the space that you're working in. You know, this is mostly within demonology. You know, when we create a circle, it is largely to balance the elements within the space. There are other ways to cast demonology circles for different purposes, but the main one with working with the 5 elemental kings, that is really largely about balancing the actual space that you're working in, so that you have a nice, you know, if you do bring in an imbalance within yourself, then you call in the 5 elements and balance the space, which then reflects into you, so you become more balanced. If we are doing something like pour breathing the elements in to direct them to a thing, talisman, amulet, creation of an artificial elemental, that in that case you would be at a point where you are able, you know what you're doing with the pour breathing, you're able to do that, and you've been through various breathing techniques and practices, you've been through a meditation practice already, so you know that brings you to a certain point where there's no doubt, you know, that's something you can do. So I don't think it's really about knowing if you've got the energy or enough energy to start working with the elements. You are already the elements, so you can start working with them immediately. Okay, these questions are quick this week, so let's do another one. Okay, so the next one is from GodKingCthulu. Could you go over the gate opening in some more detail? Okay, I should have left this one for next week because this might be a bit of a lengthy one. I might go into this in a bit more detail in another video, But when it comes to gate opening, what you're doing is you are opening a door, a gate, a portal, an opening from this world into the other world. And through that opening, you are then able to either step through into that other world, or you're able to bring an energy from that other world into this one. So it's kind of like a direct link. What we're doing when we are working with, if you are sitting down, speaking specifically within demonology here, if you're sitting down and you are chanting the end of a particular spirit and you are calling on that spirit, you feel the energy around you, but it's when you open the gate to the realm of that spirit, the energy you feel is tenfold. What you do, it's when you're sitting down just doing an end, just calling a spirit in, it's a kind of a muted energy, but opening the gate, it's a lot of energy that comes through, and it can be quite overbearing, really. But when we are talking about gate opening, it is that opening the portal. But I think every tradition has their own method. Orion Foxwood in his book that I spoke about recently, Flame in the Cauldron, if I remember correctly, he actually talks about rending the veil, and this is very, very similar to, or it is very much the same thing. And in that method, what you do is you use breath work, and together with the breath work, you then sort of push your hands through a veil and you start to pull it apart and open it, and then you go up and down, and this opens it up vertically as well as horizontally, and with each breath you open it more and more and more, and it opens a gateway between the worlds. If we go into demonology, there are some, it's quite extensive in demonology, or modern demonology, as explained by S. Connolly, and it's kind of alluded to through her books, so you have to read a few books to actually pick up exactly what to do. However, Infernal Colopateron, if I've got the name right, I find it very difficult to say that word. In that book, it is specifically about gate opening, and it goes into the 9 spirits, which are the gatekeepers. These are not the same gatekeepers as Coetting stuff, forget about that. So it has the 9 spirits, which are the gatekeepers of each of the 9 gates, and each of the 9 gates are there for the 9 demonic divinities. And there is one specific spirit that you work with at each gate, and you draw the sigil, and there's a repetitive thing. You start with first line, you chant the end, you then go over the first line, you do the second line, you chant the end, go over the first line, second line, do the third line of the sigil. So you go through this whole process, and then you work with the spirit, the actual gatekeeper, and then you open up the gate, and then you can work with whichever spirit is beyond that. So the gates would be of the 5 elements, and then of creation, destruction. Oh, my brain's gone dead. Let's see, creation, destruction, life, and healing, if I remember correctly. I'm having a bad brain day. So anyway, you have the 9 gates, working with those 9 divine intelligences, the demonic divinities. You then can work with the 10th gate, which is very much related to you. But again, it is opening a gate, a door, an opening between this world and the other world that you want to work with. And through that process, depending on work you're actually doing, and quite often it's charging a talisman or something like that. You want to pull in the energy, that direct energy from different gates. So you might work with 4 gates, you might work with just the 4 elements, you might work with all 9 gates. It depends on what you are really doing, but then you pull that direct energy in and you direct it into the work that you're doing. On the other hand, there is also the Kabbalistic gates. Through the use of the God names of the Sephirah, of each Sephirah, you vibrate them in a certain manner. And it's not just a verbal vibration, it is also focusing on the 5 points of the body, which relate to the 5 vowels. And as you are vibrating the God aspect, the name of God, for that particular Sephirah, you move that energy up and down the body, and you also vibrate the name, and that opens the gate. And there's 2 ways that you would, or 2 reasons you would do this that I know of anyway. First one is to actually open the gate to bring in the energy, and it kind of fills you. So if you were to open the gate of Gevura, which is strength or severity, this is ruled by Mars, so you may become or seem quite angry to people, but it would be a good energy to pull in if you are needing to defend yourself, if you are needing to whether it's physically or if you are in court or something like that. You need to become bigger, you need to become stronger, you need to become more potent. And then there are the cases where you might want to do that. If you want to become more beautiful and pleasant, you might open the gate to Tiferet, for instance. So you open the gate, and then that energy, that power comes in and fills you up, and you then become that energy, and the people around you interact with you in that manner. 2 people who have completely different or completely opposing gates open may tell the same joke, and the people in the room will laugh with the one person, and the other people will probably think he's a pig and he's disgusting. It might be like a dirty joke or something, but the one person gets all the laughs and everybody loves him to bits, but the other person they don't like, they hate him, even though they tell the same joke. So it's the energy that we emit, that we project to people. So we can change that through gate opening in that manner. The other way in Kabbalah that I know of opening the gates, and the reason for doing it, is when you actually do a Mokshistic journey and you go into the worlds. So what you would do is you would sort of you would go to the level of the Sephirah that you want to go into. You would then do the same thing, you would vibrate the God name, and this opens the door to that realm, and then you step in and you can explore that realm. So again, it's opening a door or a gate or a portal, either for that energy to come directly in instead of it being muted through the veil, or for you to step into that realm so that you can explore it better. So that really is gate opening, the reasons we would do it and such things. Alright, I'm going to end that today. That's all the questions I'm going to do. And so I'll see you next week. As I said, if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll add them to the list for this Ask Lee segment. Okay, cheers for now. Have a good one. Bye bye.